Hello everyone, I'm Frank, and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle. Now, take that easy just with a grain of salt, because it's considered easy by the people on the Logic Masters Germany forum, and there's a lot of really smart people there. Today's puzzle is Pick Up Sticks, Orange, by Marty Sears. And here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means fill the entire grid with the digits 1 through 9 such that there are no repeats in any row, column, or 9-cell region. We also have adjacent digits along an orange stick must have a difference of at least 4. So these are essentially Dutch whisper lines along all these lines. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be a 7, an 8, or a 9 in this spot, because you know the only digits that are 4 or more away from 3 are 7, 8, and 9. Also, a stick always has a lower total, that is the sum of its digits, than any stick which lies on top of it. So the higher the stick is in the totem pole, the higher the sum of its digits. So for example, this stick here is below this stick here and this stick here. So the sum of these two digits must be less than the sum of these two digits and less than the sum of these two digits. And that's how the sticks work on the pickup sticks, because otherwise, it would be really difficult. Actually, you couldn't solve it because otherwise. But those are all the rules. If you like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay, so right now we need to determine which sticks are the lowest ones, right, on the totem pole. So this is beneath this, which is beneath these two, which is beneath this. So this is the lowest. This is the next highest. I guess we'll make that green. This is the next highest. And this is the highest of that. This is actually the next highest of this, but this is on top of it. And then this has to be on top of that. Whoa. Okay. We're running out of colors. This is on top of that one. Whoa, okay. And then it keeps getting larger and larger. Wow. We might need to reset this. Remember, these are all Dutch whisper lines too. So there must be a difference of at least 4 between the lines. Okay. Let's maybe number them. So this is the lowest. So we have 1 here. This one here is the second lowest, so we're going to mark that as 2. This is 3. This is 3. This is above that, so this is 4. Oh, this one's above that, so this is 5. This one's above the 5, so this is 6. And this is above the 6, so this is 7. This is above that, so this is 8. And remember, there's always a difference of at least 4 between each of the digits on these lines. Okay, so what's the most this could be? Actually, what's the most? This is 4. What's the most? Yeah, the 7 could be, right? Because everything else has to be smaller than that. You could have 959, which would be 14 plus 9, which is 23. So the sum of this is 22 at most. The sum of this is 21 at most. The sum of this is 20 at most. The sum of this is 19 at most. The sum of this is 18 at most, and then we have 17. Ooh, that doesn't restrict very much. Hmm. Um, hmm. Yeah, it's not that restrictive. Maybe what's the minimum of everything? So, like, look at the maximum of everything else. Obviously, so, okay, for 2 digits on a Dutch whisper line, the minimum is 6, right? Because it's 1 and 5 together. The maximum is 14. You could have 9 and 5 next to each other. Yeah, it's 14. So 6 to 14 for a 2 length Dutch whisper line. For a 3 length Dutch whisper line, the minimum is 151. So that would be 7 at most, and the max would be 14 minus. Well, okay, so another thing is if it's all in the same line, right? So if it's all the same line for Dutch Whisper, it would be for 3, it's 1, 6, and 2. So that would be 9. For all in line for 3, the max would be what? 9, 4, 8, which would be 21. So 21, and then if you have it across lines, it would be 959, which is 23. Yeah. For 4 across, you could have 1515, right? So it's always going to be increasing by 1 here. So 6 to... No, actually, it's not going to be increased by 1. That would be 12. So this would be 12 at minimum for 4. Across the same line, it's 1... You could have 5162, right? So that would be 6 plus 6, which is 12, plus 2 is 14. And then the maximum would be 5948, which would be 26. And the maximum for 4 across that is not in the same row or column would be 5959, which is 14 times 2, which is 28. So these are the max values for... we have 5 length 2 now. This is 5 length also. Okay. The minimum for 5 in the same... well, we have 5 and 6. The minimum for 5 across boundaries is 1515151. So that's 1 times 3 plus, so that'd be 13. The minimum across... Now let's move this 4. This 4 has to be there. The minimum across 5 in the same column would have 3 lows, 1, 2, and 3. And then 6 and 7, right? 6 to be in between the 1 and the 2. 7 in between the 2 and the 3. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 is 6, plus 6 is 12, plus 7 is 17. So 17 is the minimum for 5 unique digits in a row. The maximum for 5 unique digits in a row would be 9, 8, and 7 altogether. And then those surrounded by 9 and 8 are next to 4, and 8 and 7 are next to 3. So 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9. So 24 plus, so that's 31 is the max for 5 digits in a row or column. If you have 5 digits along a diagonal, you could have 59595 or 95959. 9 times 3, which is 27, plus 5 times 2, 37. Okay, so this is the highest stick, and it's 28 at most. This is 3 in length, so this is at most 23. So this 6 cell length has to be less than 26 actually, because it's the one that's not it's in the same column. So this 9 cell the 6 cell Dutch whisper line is less than 26. So this is 26 at most. This is 23 at most, which makes it, okay, so this is, and this could be 26 at most here. That means this is 25 at most. Okay, so 20, what are the ranges I guess you should have? So this range is from 14 to 26. This is from 15. Okay, 25. What is the least? 1, 5. So here you can't have 1, 5, 1, right? It can be at most 1, 6, 6 in betweens. 2, 6, 1. You're always gonna have 2, 6, 1. You're always gonna have 3 of each type, right? 2, 6, 1. So it's either, well, it's probably best. Well, you can't have 5 in the middle there. You could have 5, 1. One of them's gonna be 6 in the middle, at least. So 6 in the middle with 1 and 2 on the outside. Six in the middle, 1, 2, 6, 1, 5. That's the minimum. So 5, 1, and 6 is 12. 6, 1, and 2 is 9. So that's 21. So this is 21 to 25 here. So this line has to be 21 to 25. This is 26 at most. This is obviously 20. This is 23 at most here. So this is going to be what? 9 to 23. It could be 7 to 23, actually. Unlikely, though. Actually, it can't be 7. Let's go from the top to the bottom right now. So this is 26 at most here. This is 23 at most. Um, uh, so this is 21 to 25. So this is very limited actually here. This is 23 at most. That makes this 22 at most here. That makes this 21 at most here. Which makes this 20 at most here. That makes this 19 at most here. Which is actually very limiting here. Because it's 17 is the minimum for 5 length. So this has to be 19 to 17 here. Interesting. So this is 17 to 19, which makes this 18 to 20. That makes this 19 to 21, 20 to 23. And this is 21 at least. So, and this one must be greater than 21, so this is actually 22 at least. So this is 19 to 17 here. This is 18 at most here. And it's could be much less. Could be down to 7. Seven to 18, and this is obviously 6 to 14. So the limiting one here is this 5 length Dutch whisper line. It's 17 to 19 in size. Okay. 17 would be what? 1, 5. So I think this has to be low, high, low, high, low, right? That would be 1, 2, 3 plus 6 and 7. Right. Could you ever start with a high? So say you had 5, 1. If you tried 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 5, 6, and 7 add up to 18, and 1 and 2 add up to 23 plus, so 18 plus 3 is 21, which would be greater. So no, this has to be low, high, low, high, low, essentially. So this is low, high, low, high, low. And it's 17 to 19 here. This is 18 to 20. This is 19 to 21, 20 to 23. Yeah, maybe I should put it somewhere else because this is kind of in the middle of things. Yeah, let's put it here. I don't know. 6 to 14. 7, 9, 21, 23. This is 31. So then we have what? 12, 14, 26, 28. 13, 17, 31, 37 are the maximums. Okay, so then we can clear all this. Okay. This is size 17 to 19. This is 18 to 20 here. $18 to $20, well, it's not that limiting, I guess. So 17 to 19, you could have 2 degrees of freedom. So again, you could have 6, 7 in the middle. That means the 2 degrees of freedom go up to 6 through 9. So the 7 could go up to a 9. You have 1, 2, 3 at least. The 1 cannot go up. So you always have a 1 there. The 2 could go up to a 4, and the 3 could go up to a 5. But if you have the 3 go up to a 5, the 7 has to correspondingly go up to a 9. So that does not work. So I think you have... So yeah, if you have the 3 going up to the 5, that's 2 degrees of freedom you already lost, which is the only 2 degrees of freedom you have. So... but the 5 can only go with 9, essentially. If it's a high. So essentially, these kind of act like German whisper lines in a sense, because to get the very minimum, you have to follow a strict pattern. It has to be low, high, low, high, low, because you can't have a 5 in between separating 1 and 9, because that's never going to be the lowest, and it's never going to be the highest, really, either. So in that sense, you're almost always going to follow a low, high pattern. If you try to have 5, 1, 9 in between, so you have a 9, a 5, and a 1, that has to be next to a 6 and a 2. And you just much rather have 3 lows, and then, right, because if you have 9, 5 here, instead of essentially a high and a low, that's 9, 5 instead of, say, like a 7, 3 extra. And that 7, 3 is obviously 10, which is less than 5 and 9. Or if you wanted to have a high and a high, the highest highs. Well, I guess you could have a 5 and 9 could. Well, you would never have a 1 then, right? You would not have 9, 5, 1. You'd rather have something like 9, 4, and 8. Or 9, 3, and 7 than 9, 5, 1. So 5 and 1 are never going to be in the least or the most. They could be in the middle, and that's fine, like for the middle values of the sticks. But since we are so limited, this is 17 and 19. You can never get 159 here, and still satisfy things, right? Because that would be 15, and then you have at minimum. So you have 159. You would have 6 and 2 at minimum with that. That's 8 plus 15, which is 23, which is already too big. So again, you could have you need a 1 in one of these cells, because the 1 cannot go up 2 degrees of freedom, because you already have 1, 2, and 3 here. And 1 going up 2 degrees of freedom would mean a duplicate 3. So that's not possible. 2 going up to 4. If you have 2 going up to 4, that's the 2 degrees of freedom lost. But that means the 7 has to go up to an... Actually, it's both 6 and 7, I think, have to go up to 8. One of them has to go up to 8. No, the 6 has to go up to an 8, too. So the 2 also has to be here, right? Because that's 2 degrees of freedom there. Right, so any of the lows are interesting. So 2 going up for the 2 degrees of freedom forces the 6 to go up at least 1 and the 7 to go up. Well, the 7 could stay. No, 7 has to go up too, because it has to be next to... 6 essentially has to go up to an 8 to accommodate for 2 going up to 4, right? Because you have in between 1 and 3 that requires the 7 instead of the 2 and 3 being next to the 7. And the 4 makes the 6 have to go up to an 8, right? To accommodate. So you know 1 and 2 have to be in this column. if you have 3 going up to 4, that could work because that only requires 7 going up to 8 then, right? And that's two, those are the 2 degrees of freedoms you can use. You could also have, again, the 7 going up to a 9 or the 6 going up to an 8, and that would also satisfy it, right? We just know that 1, 2 have to remain in the column. Um, I don't know if that tells us anything. So this has to be at least 6 because it's in between 2 unique digits on a Dutch whisper line. Therefore, minimum of this, well, we know the minimum has to be 18. The maximum, so it could be 5 and 1 here with 9. That would work. And then 2. That's actually still less than the minimum. So, So this is maximum of 18, minimum of 7, maximum of 16, 14, and minimum of 6. Hmm. 4 cannot be in the middle here. If 4 is in the middle between the 2 highs, that would force the highs to be 8 and 9 already, which is 21. And it has to be 19 at most. Can you have 3 in the middle too? 3 in the middle requires 7 and 8 outside of it. So 3 in the middle would require 7 and 8. And then you have 1 and 2 on the outside. 3, 7 is 10 plus 8, that's 21. So that 3 cannot be in the middle either. 2 could be in the middle because it could be next to 6 and 7. 1 could be in the middle. It could be next to 6 and 7. So this 3-digit, so this is 17 at minimum, 18 at minimum, 19 at minimum, 20 at minimum here. Okay, so this is 19 at minimum, 21 at max. This is 18 at minimum, 20 at max. Therefore, this is 20 at minimum, which means, can you ever have a high in the middle? 5, 9, and 5 adds up to 19. So no, this always has to be a low in the middle followed by a high on the outsides. So this is low in the middle, high on the outsides to add up to 20. And this low cannot be, it's at least 20. So it's 20 to 23 for this line. What does that mean? This could be low, high, low, low. Interesting. This is at least what? Could be, yeah, 5 is technically a low here. So this could be 5 down to 9 and 9 plus 2. So this can never be 5 here. This digit, actually, this digit is 4 away from 1 through 4. So this has to be 5 through 9 here. If this is 5, this could be 1 or 9. So if this is 5, so if this is a high digit, 6 through 9, then this has to be 1 through 4 next to it. Right? If it's 5 here, it could also be, sorry, 1 through 5. If this could also be 5 as long as this is 9. Right? The only way this can be next to 2, 3, 4, 5 then is if this is 9, this could be 2, 3, or 4. If this is 5, this doesn't work because 5 is not 4 or more away from 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2, 3, 4 does not work. This is actually, this adds up to a minimum of 19, but this digit is also 1 and 9 as the only possibilities, right? I think so. Because if this is low, 2, 3, 4, you can only get the digits 6 through 9 here. Right? 5 doesn't work. 6 through 9 is only 4 away from if it's 9 here and this is 5. So this is 1 or 9. That means if this is 2, 3, or 4, this is 9. This would have to be 5. That's interesting. So this this is at minimum 19, and it's also 1 or 9 here as the only possibilities. If it's 9 here, this could be low. If this is 1 here, this has to be a 5. If this is 9 here, this is a 5. Okay. So I think one of these must be a 5 then, right? To swap from there to there. If this is 1, this is 5, and this is a high. That's interesting. So if this is 9, this is 5, and this is 1. So if this is 9, this could be 2, 3, 4, or 5. But this would not be 9, so this could not be, well, this would have to be, this 9 would force this to be 5, which would force that to be 1. So that would be 1, 5, 9. That would be 15 there, and this could be 5, so that this would be 4, 5, or 6 here. It's because you can add up to 19, or you can add up to 21. You can't be 6, though. So if this is 9, this is 5, this is 1, that's 15. This has to add up to 19 to 21. So this would be 4, 5, or 6, but the only digits that are 4 more away from 9 is 4 or 5. If this is 1, this is 5. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, if this is 9, that forces this to be 5 and this to be 1. The problem is this is at most 8, right? Because this 9 sees both of these. So this would be 8 and 8. This cannot be 5. At most, this has to be at least 19, because it has to be greater than 18. So this would be 4 at least. Say that this was 4. If this is 4, this is at best 3, 8, and 8, which is 19, which is not greater. Hold up, this is not even 20. I think this is 21, right? Yeah, this one is 20 at minimum. Okay, so this one's 20 at minimum. This is 21 at minimum. Because it's higher than that. Right. So, right, this is not, this is 21 at minimum. So, yeah, if this is 9, this is 4. This would be 3 at most. 8, 3, and 8 adds up to 19, which is obviously less, is equal to the same as 19, but it has to be greater than 20. It has to be 21 at least. So, the 9 cannot work there. Even if you had this be 5, as 5951 to add up to 20. The problem is, again, this is 8 and 8 and 4 at minimum, so that also adds up to 20. And it has to be greater than this stick, which is greater than that stick, which is 20. So that's not possible. So this cannot be 9. Therefore, we know this is 1 here. So this is 1, this is 2. So you can't have 2 here, you can't have 2 here. This 1 must be next to a 5 out of this. So this is 5. This is 21 at least. So if the other one's 9, that means this could... Oh, wait. It has to be 4 more away from 5, which makes this 9 and 9. It has to be 5, 9, and 9. Okay. This can't be 5 or 9 here. Right? Because the 5 can only... to get it higher than whatever this is, which means it has to be at least 21, you have to have both highs. You can't have 951. So it has to be 959, which makes this 23. This is 1, this is 2. This is 5 and 1. This cannot be 9. So it has to be a low. So we have what? 2, 3... No, it has to be 1. So this is 1. That's interesting. Okay. And this is 7. This is 20 to 23 here. This again is 19 at most. Or sorry, 19 at least and 21 at most. This is 6 through 9 here. This is 6, 7, 8. So this could be 4 still. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's 20 at least. So if we have 7 plus 9, that actually works. 7 plus 9 is 16, and then this could be 4 through 9, which is fine. So these are both highs. This actually could be a 5. This could be 5, and this could be 5. Okay, so we don't need the coloring necessarily. It's just an easy visual, so that's why I do it. But this is 6, 7, 8, 9, so this has to be 1 through 5. But it can't be 1 or 2, so this is 3 through 5. This can't be 1. This is 2 through 4. And so again, this is... We know this is 23. So this has to be 24 to 26. 26 for this. We have 21 to 25 here. This is 24 to 26. So this could be what? 2, 3, 4. It cannot be 6, 7, 8. It has to be 7 or 8 here. Ah, that's interesting. This is 2, 3, 4. This is 1. This is 7 or 8, which must be next to 2, 3, 4 again. 5 cannot be here because 5 can only be between 9 and 1. And neither of these are... This one cannot be 1 or 9. This, though, is 7 or 8. Since this is 7 or 8, that forces this to be 1 through 4. And 1 through 4 can only be next to 5 through 8 here. So the minimum here now, 21 to 25. Oh. This is 24 to 26. This has to be greater than this, which is 23. This must be 24 then. So this is 3, 4, which forces this to be 8, and this is 3, 4. Because this is the maximum now for this digit. So this is 24. Right? 8 plus 9 plus 3 and 4, which is 7, is 24. And it has to be that because it has to be greater than that. And you can't have a 5 anymore here because the 9 is here. If you had 5 here and 9 here, that would be okay. You could have 5, 9, 8, 4. But that's not possible because this is 9. So this can't be 8. This then is a sum of 24. So this must be 21 to 23. Because it's less than this stick. Therefore, the minimum now here is 518. 518, which is 14. Plus 612, or 261, which is 9. Wait, that's too big. 14, oh no, 14 plus 9. Right. So this has to be 23 at minimum then with the 8 being there. So this has to then be 1 and 5. This is 1, 6, and 2 in some form, and the 6 has to be here. So this is 6 with 1 or 2. Because 5 cannot be in between two small numbers. So this is the minimum for this stick, which has to be less than 24. Okay, so then these are all essentially used up. We don't have to worry about these values because we have the minimum now. Right, we know this has to be a value of 24 because of the 1 eliminates that. This is 23. This is also 23. This must be... Okay, so this is still 20 to 22 here. 20 to 22. Because we know this is 23 for certain. This is 19 to 21 here. 18 to 20 here. 3, 4, 5 can be next to 9, 7, 8, or 9. Cannot be 1 here because of the 1 here. This 1 means this can't be 1. Okay, that's good to know. So this can't be 6 then here. This has to be a 1 to make this the lowest still. Right, because if this was 3 and 4, again, it would be too large. Because that would require 8 and 9 here. Or 7, 8, and 9. 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 plus 2, 3, 4 is already too big. So this is 1 and 2. The rest of box 8 is 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 9 cannot be these two. 5 cannot be these two. 5 cannot be here. That means this must be a 2 with some other digit. So it's 2 with 6 or 2 with 7 here. and it's the lowest. So it's 2 with 6 or 2 with 7. 6 can't be here. Therefore, the sum of this is 9. If this is a high, it could be 7. Therefore, the remaining digits here are 5, 6, or 7. Because 2 has to be one of these lows here. This can't be 6. If this is 6, this is 2, which forces this to be 1. But 1 is already taken in the column. So this is a 2, 7 pair. So this adds up to 9. This stick adds up to 9, so this cannot be, this has to be more than 9. Which all of them kind of are. If this is low, it's 3, can't be 4. This can't be 4 then. If this is low, this has to be high, and 7. So this would have to be 3 then. If this is 2, this could be 7, 8, or 9. Actually, it can't be 7. If this is 7, this is 2, this is 7. And they would be the same value, so this has to be 8 or 9. If this is high, it has to be greater than 7, so it's 8 or 9 also here. 5, 7 cannot be these two. This can't be a 5, 6 because of the 5, 6 pair in the box. I don't know if I would consider this easy. Anyways, this 5 eliminates 5 here, so that's a 6, which makes this a 5. This 6 eliminates 6 here. Oh, we were also eliminated because this can't be 1 or 2. So 3 is at minimum next to a 7. Could be next to an 8, though. Can this be 9? You have 1, 5, 1, 7 at minimum. That's 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 9 is 23, which is greater than equal to 959, which is not allowed. It must be less than that. So again, we have 20 to 22 here. This is 19 to 21. This is 18 to 20. What are the digits here? It's 3 through 9 also. This can't be 6. There could still be any combination. 6 cannot be here, though, because if this is 6, it's not 4 or more away from 3 through the rest of the digits. If this is 7, it has to be with 3 here or 3 here. So if this is 7, this is 3. If this is 7, this is 3. So either way, this can never be 3 because they see both of these possible cells being 3. Let's see. These digits have to be 5 through 9. Be next to the 1 on the Dutch Whisper line. If this is 5 here, that would force this to be 9 and 9. And that's already 23, so this can never... Okay, it couldn't be 5 anyways. This is 3 or 4. If this is 4, that means it's at minimum 4, 8, and 8. which is 20. And that's not allowed, right? Because this is 20 at most, and we already have 20 from these three digits if this is 4, 8, and 8. So this cannot be 4. This is 3. What's the minimum? 3, 7, 7 adds up to 17. So you could have 2 here. So this can never be 9 here. This can never be 9. But we do have 1 degree of freedom still to play with. So this is 2 or 3 here. Right, if we tried having 9 here, 9, 3, that's 12, plus 7 and 2 is 21. And we can only have 20 here at most. This is 22 at most. Therefore, we have a 7, 8 pair here. That's interesting. And this digit must be next to both of them on the Dutch whisper line. So this must be then 3. Which means 3 cannot be any of these. Therefore, if this is a 4, well, one of these has to be 4, 5. Actually, both of them could be 4, 5. If either of them are 4, 5, this can never be 7. 7's not is not 4 away from 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9. So this can never be 7 here. 3 is here. 3 has to be one of these 3 digits. This 3 eliminates 3 here, so this is 2. We still have the 1 degree of freedom here possible. This is 1, 2, and 3, so that's 6. It has to add up to 19 at most. Wait, if that's the case, 1, 2, 3, it adds up to 19. Wait, that's the minimum. Right. That was the minimum period. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure why I... Okay. That was the minimum period. I don't even know. So the minimum here was always 19. I don't know how I got 17. I miscalculated. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, plus 6 is 12, plus 7 is 19. So this always had to be 7. Okay. So this is 7, this is 8, this is 6. We still have the minimum value here, right? So this is... No, this is 19, so this has to be 20. Okay. So this is 20, which makes this an 8. Right, because we have 12 here. This must be 20 and greater. But it has to be less than 21, right? Because this is... So this is 21, this is 22, because this is 23 here. Okay. This can't be 6 or 8. This can't be 6 or 8. So we know... Okay, so this adds up to 19, which gives us no 6 or 7 here. That leaves us 4, 5, 8, and 9 here. 5 then has to be one of these 3 digits because it can't be here in column 3. It can't be here, then either. So this adds up to... Okay, so again, this stick adds up to 19, which forces this to be 20, which forces this to be 21. This is 22. This is 23. Again, so this is 19, 20. This is 21. This is already 11, 12, so this must be 9 to be 21. This is 22. This is 7. We need 22 minus 7 is 15, I think. 22 minus 7 is 15. So these 2 digits must add up to 15. 5 never adds up with another digit to add up to 15. So this is 7. which forces this to be 8, right? We have 7 and 8, which is 15 plus 7, which is 22. 9, 5, which is 14 plus 9, which is 23. So these are all set. This cannot be 9 here, and it cannot be 9 here, and this can't be 8. So 9 has to be one of these two digits here. This 2 eliminates 2 here, so this is 1, this is 2. So this is done. This is all done. So it's just figuring out these. This is less than 19, which is probably going to be a lot of things. This 6 through 9 means this has to be 1 through 5 here. Can't be 5, though. So this is 1 through 4 here, which makes this 6 through 9 here. We don't know about these. Two's one of these two digits here. Where is the 1 in column 6? Can't be here because of the 1 in the box. Can't be here because of the 1 in the box. Can't be here because of the 1 in the row. So this is 1. We know one of these two is a 1. One of these 3 is a 1, but that's pretty broad. And one of these 2 is a 1. Hmm. Nine has to be one of these two, so it must be next to a 4 or 5. And one of these must be 3, 4, or 5. Therefore, it must be next to 8 or 9 here. That doesn't tell us very much. 8 cannot be here. Okay, that tells us a little bit. So that means 8 has to be one of these 3, which means 8 cannot be here. 8 cannot be here. Where is the 8 in row 2? Can't be here because of the 8 in the column. Can't be any of these because of the 8 in the boxes. So this must be 8 here. Where's the last one? Where's 5 in row 2? Also, can't be here because of the boxes. The 5's in the boxes, so it must be here. 5 has to be one of these two. Huh. Can this ever be 1? Maybe? Say this was 6. That means this, if this is 6, that would mean that's a maximum of 2. So say this is, whatever though this digit is, would be greater than or equal to at least 1 and 6. And that would break essentially the rules of the sticks on top. So this can never be 6. I think similarly this can't be 9, right? Because whatever this is next to would be essentially, this would be 7 and 1. This would be 9, and therefore this stick would be greater than the sum of this stick. So this can't be 9. So this is 6 or 7. So 4 can never be here because 4 has to be in between two digits, one of which has to be at least a 7. So this is 1, 2, or 3 here. This is at least 1 and 7 here. So 1, 7, and 1. So these have to be greater than 1, 7, and 1. If this is 1, this would be at least 2, 7, and 1, which is 10. And 1 could only be next to. So again, if this is 1, this is at minimum 2, 7, 1, because this has to be at least 2, 6 here. So since this is at minimum 2, 7, 1, this adds up to 10. 1 with any other digit at most adds up to 10, and therefore doesn't work. So 1 cannot be either of these, which means 1 has to be here. So this is 1, which makes that not 1. Therefore, that's the 1 there. Can this ever be 9? If this is 9, that forces this stick to add up to 12. The most this stick could be then is 4 and 8, which would add up to 12, which is the same as this stick, which is not allowed. So this can never be 9. This has to be 7. This is 6. 7 eliminates 7 here. Where is a 7 in box 8? It has to be one of these two, which makes that not 7. So this is 2, this is 7, this is 3. Which means 3 cannot be either of these. 3 cannot be here. 2 has to be next to 8 or 9. Where is the 2 in row 8? Can't be here because of the 2 in the box. Can't be here because of this 2. Can't be here because of that 2. This is a 1. Therefore, this is 2, which must, the sum of this stick must be greater than 9. So it has to be 8 or 9 here, which cannot be 3. That forces 3 to be here. We have a 4, 5, 8, and this can't be 8 because of the 8 in the column, so this is a 9. We also celebrate the 3 in the corner because we know we're getting close to finishing this puzzle. This 4, 5, 8 triplet eliminates 4 here, so this can't be 4, this is 9. This can't be 9 here. Therefore, this is 4, 5. It must be next to another digit. So this must be 8 and 4. That forces this to be 9. Because 4 and 8, this has to be, cannot be 4 or 8, then this is 5, which is greater than 4 and 8. We actually actually, maybe we did need this. I'm not sure. Anyways, this has to be a 4 then. 4 cannot be either of these. This 4 eliminates 4 here, so this is 3. There's no 4 here either. This 3 eliminates 3 here, so this is 4. And now we're just doing Sudoku. This 5 eliminates 5 here, so this is 8. That 8 eliminates 8 here, so this is 7. This is 5. This can't be 8 because of the 8 in the column, so this is 9, which makes that an 8. This is now a 6. This has to be a 4, 5 pair, and 5 can't be here because of the 5 in the column. So this is 4, this is 5. Row 2, we have, what? 4, 6, and 7 remaining. So this could be 4, 6. This could be 4, 7. This could be 6 or 7. Column 6, we have 4, 5, and 6 remaining. No, not 4, 5, and 6. 4, 6, and 8 remaining. This can't be 8, so this is 4, 6, which forces this to be an 8 here. What else do we have? Column 4, we have 3, 5, and 6 missing. This can't be 5, this can't be 5, so this is 5, which makes this 3 or 6. This can't be 3, so this is 6, which makes this 3. This 6 eliminates 6 here, so this is 4, this is 6. Which makes this 7 and 4. Excuse me. Remaining digits in the central box are 2 and 3. Remaining digits in Box 2 are 4 and 7, and this can't be 7 because of the 7 in the row, so this is 4, this is 7. Remaining digits in row 1 are 2, 4, and 6. This can't be 4 or 6, so this is 2, which makes this a 4, 6 pair here. But 6 can't be here because of the 6 in the column, so this is 4, this is 6. We have a 1, 2 pair remaining in box 1. This can't be 1, so this is 2, which makes that a 1. That leaves us as 3 and 9. 9 can't be here because of the 9 in the column, so this is 3, this is 9. We have 4 and 7 remaining in row 4. This has to be a 7 because of the 4 in the column, therefore this is 4. That leaves a 2 remaining in column 8, which makes this 3 and 2. This 5 can't be a 5 because of the 5 in the row, so this must be 5. This has to be a 7. This is a 9, which leaves this as 6 and 3. Whew. I do not consider that easy. Even with my miscalculation here, it's still not an easy task to go through all of these. I don't know. Though that does, I mean, yeah, that having that minimum calculated correctly does help a lot. I don't know. I still don't think it would be easy if that were the case, but maybe I'm just letting it color, like letting this struggle color everything. Excuse me. I don't know. This was not. I would not consider this easy. I would think challenging level, even with the miscalculation here. That was a pretty significant miscalculation. So, anyways, though, I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.